Don't look back. Don't look back. All right, here we go. Nope. Right, you're stuck. Okay, ready? Here we go. 5, 4, 3, 2. Hold on. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay. I don't hear anything. Do you hear something? Okay, here we go. Sorry. I just had to replug in. Let's see if that helps. And 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Hi. Nice to join you. I will have to get to something that was done by Alice Shattuck. Usually in the morning, Alice Shattuck is she's all business. She's got to get ready for this meeting. She's getting our little guy ready for his daycare, helping the two little boys get ready for the school bus at 8. And the other son is pretty much self-contained. He does it. I got to get up, depending on what time early, to bring my daughter to Fauntleroy Academy. You got to get all the snacks for the kids, and there's snack rules, and you got to get all of this, that, and little lunchbox and all that. So morning time is freaking go time in this house, and so it is no nonsense time for, like, Alice is, like, into it, because she also has to, usually she's, like, giving a presentation starting at 9. So it's always chaos here, but it's really chaos in the morning crunch. So I was surprised this morning when she looked up at something that we have framed. I don't know how it got framed, actually. I don't think I did it, but no, I think my dad. It was from my dad or my mother had done it after when I was a concierge. I got written up in this magazine. Oddly enough, Concierge magazine, which was an offshoot, I think, of Wear magazine at the time. Whatever. These things are anyway. So they were looking for somebody. It was our turn. I think it was all. Nobody does anything for any other reason, but they're trying to sell you stuff. So I think that they wanted to get like some special Wear magazine thing in all the rooms or whatever. So they came over and they said, "Give me your guy, Tom Shattuck." I knew some people from Wear magazine. A lot of them didn't like me anymore because I had dated somebody who was there and who was a really sweet person. We went on like a couple of dates, but I was so like immature and I was just idiot in my 20s, and so she wanted to go. They were all bringing their boyfriends out to see Blue Man Group, and this woman named Laura. She was lovely. She was in her early 20s. I could tell she liked me immediately. It's just one of like every 7 years when I was a young guy, inexplicably, you know what I mean? Like a woman sometimes would just lock on, and like she was into me. I did nothing to make it happen. And if she probably just wasn't into me, then I would have said something immediately or acted in some way that she would have then not been. Anyway, this Laura was into me. I remember because they said, "Tom, bring Laura up." It was her first day of work. Bring Laura up and show her one of the guest rooms. So I say, "Okay, come on, Laura, we'll go to the guest room." And we're going up in the elevator, and she's just staring at me. She's very pretty. So, obviously, she's staring at me, and I'm like, this never happens. Does she really, like... And then we go to the room. I'm showing her the room types: DDN, SUP, double non-smoking superior room, that kind of thing. You know what I mean? DDNT, double non-smoking traditional. DDST, double smoking traditional. We even had those for when I first worked there. So anyway, I take her to the room and said, "This is our superior room. This is and she's standing in front of the bed, and I swear to goodness, I'm not being cool. I have very few stories where I'm ever cool. I assure you. I swear, I think she wanted me to kiss her, maybe even, I don't think ravage her. I don't think, but I was like, oh my God, is this really happening? Anyway, so we went on a couple of dates, and Laura really liked me. Decided she was going to fix me. Her dad was a doctor, a brain doctor. She went to some nice school. She saw that I was paying my electric bill one time, and she was like, "What? You're only paying part of that? No, pay your whole bill, Tom." And she didn't understand that I was a fixer-upper, and I was not paying the entire bills if I was paying any bills at all. So she wanted to fix me. She would sometimes go in the lobby and play with children, I think, as a way to show me how good a mom she'd be. Of course, I'm an idiot because I should have just married her, probably, and been a normal human being, but I'm not a normal human being. And so I was supposed to go to Blue Man Group as her date. She was all proud to have me go there with her, and I blew her off. Coldly blew her. Not coldly, cowardice blew her off because I wanted to drink with the boys. And that was something that in the 90s was happening a lot. I was intimidated by dates. I didn't know how to be a normal person. I didn't know what to talk about. I didn't know normal people like that. It felt very uncomfortable. And the boys just wanted to go to the Hub Pub and get smashed. And I opted to go with the boys. And so Where Magazine was angry at me, but then a few years passes by. They decide that they're gonna showcase me because they want to sell something into the hotel. So they come over and they send this photographer over, who was very pretty, and she had me stand outside. And you saw this picture. If you saw Alice, there's a picture of me standing outside in front of the Parker House with the brass doors. It's a good-looking picture. It happened to be a good-looking time for me. In my scale of what good looking is. I mean, I was the least terrible looking that I had been in a long time. So I had quit smoking. I started jogging, dropped a bunch of weight, got out in the sun. It was good. It was a good looking time for me. So this photog is really cute. I got new confidence. I actually asked the photog out. She said nope. And I said, why not? And she said, well, you're a concierge. I mean, are even concierges even straight? So I remember, yes, she did. She said no to me. She rejected me. I haven't let that go because I've gotten the guts up to ask girls out 4 times, in my entire life. So then they send in this reporter a writer for the magazine to ask me a bunch of questions. And I didn't know how to be because she's looking for normal person questions. And I didn't really know, like I said, I didn't know how to be. So she said, okay, Tom, where do you go? Where's a good place for a nice walk on a Sunday night? Or what's a good winter drink to have? And I'm like, these are all questions you'd ask a normal person. And I don't know what any of, how to answer a normal person. I'm not a normal human being. I'm me. And so I have trouble answering any of her questions. And she can tell that I'm having trouble answering any of her questions. So she says, do you just want me to fill out the thing instead, Tom? And I'll just answer the questions. And I said, sure, you can just do that. I was so terrible. So that's what we do. She answers the questions for me. This write-up comes out in a nice glossy magazine. It's a nice picture of me. Unfortunately, the Bellmen already have received cases and cases of this magazine because it's going to be distributed in the rooms. And they're enjoying reading the magazine, reading my answers to these questions. So, for instance, the reporter, this young lady, it's called Ask the Concierge. Concierge Thomas Shattuck of the storied Omni Parker House knows just what visitors want. Already we're in troubled waters here. And here comes Margaret Fury. Today, Thomas Shattuck is on staff to answer the questions of all guests, famous or not. And he let us in on everything from where to find a cozy sweater, which is not a thing I knew how to do, which is one of the reasons I couldn't answer any questions, because I assume, maybe, did they assume I was gay? I don't know. I didn't know where to find a cozy sweater. I have not worn a sweater since 1985. I don't like sweaters. So they say, he lets us know everything from where to find a cozy sweater to where the best fall foliage within city limits is. Let me tell you two things I wasn't doing in any part of the 90s or early 2000s was wearing cozy sweaters or watching the effing fall foliage. So the question is, where to see fall foliage? Most people, this is my voice now, most people think they get in a car and drive to New Hampshire or Vermont to see the coolest colors of the season. But if your timing is right, beautiful reds and oranges can be seen in Boston's many parks. Reds and oranges? The bellmen, by the way, were on the ground enjoying this. Now she attributes a fake quote to me. My personal favorite is the 255-acre Arnold Arboretum, says Shattuck. If you're up for a major trek, you can walk there by weaving your way along the Emerald Necklace, a 6-mile linear park designed by Frederick Law Olmsted. Who the frig from downtown Boston is walking 6 miles to the Arnold Arboretum? Your chances of getting shot as you get closer to it increase a whole lot. Or you can just hop on the Orange Line, which I would never send anybody on who I liked anyway, and be there in a little more than 15 minutes. Even if the colors are not at peak, you will see the amazing variety of trees from all around the world. In truth, I would never have said this to anybody, in truth, because I would have sent them on a bus tour and gotten a commission. And I would have talked them out of the Arnold Arboretum in the 200-acre trees. Now, this is where the bellman and the rest of the people really, really got into this. Best warm-me-up fall drink. Once again, not a question a straight man is going to know how to answer. The best warm-me-up fall drink was like every other drink I was having at that time, which was a strong vodka drink, which I did not tell her, so she made up an answer. Far and away, it's the hot apple cider at Remington's of Boston on Boylston Street, says Shattuck. She could not have thought of a gayer drink, other than my friend Jared, who was working at the hotel beside me at the time, who said, I love the Armani Cafe because Todd makes the best Hollywoods. That's the gayest answer. My answer is the runner-up. Far and away, it's the hot apple cider at Remington's of Boston on Boylston Street, said Shattuck. It may be an old recipe, but the taste is new. And listen to this. This is where she castrates me for the rest of my social life in Boston. She attributes this last quote to me. And of course, it comes with its very own cinnamon stick. Okay, thanks. I got cinnamon stick, and I was called cinnamon stick for 5 straight years by the bellman. Got a chill? Best place to buy a sweater? After where is the Freedom Trail, Shattuck says the most common question is, where is Filene's basement? There's no better place to find a bargain, he says. Once again, not something I would say. I would send people to Filene's basement. It was right there, and it was a legendary place. So it continues here. If you prefer an extra warm Irish knit sweater, he'd send you to Celtic Weavers in Faneuil Hall Marketplace, a place where I have sent exactly 0 people in my life at all. I am familiar that there was a sweater place in Faneuil Hall that had these white sweat. But that's it. In other words, they're giving a mention to Celtic Weavers, who I assume the moment this was published, they sent the salesperson down there to try to shake them down and make one of their employees seem very gay in an interview. Best reason to visit the Omni Parker House. Aside from showing guests the actual table where Ho Chi Minh stood and made pastries, Shattuck also likes to point out the Parker House rolls and Boston cream pie were invented there. I liked to point that out. Yeah, I was really enjoying my life at the time, pointing out the Parker House rolls came from there. But most people enjoy knowing that JFK proposed to Jackie in Parker's restaurant, and he held his bachelor party here at the Parker House, too. Now, that was probably some kind of party. This is all my quote that I supposedly said. I don't know that I ever did say that. I thought that JFK actually... I mean, there was a lot of... Everybody claims JFK and Jackie's first date and proposal and stuff. We'll say that that's true. But anyway, so Alice sees this article. It's been hanging in our bedroom in a frame for 6 years. She decides this morning to put it up and make fun of me on on Twitter, which is weird that she took the time out, but she knew that it would be such a good dig that she did it anyway. So then I responded and suggested she had been a working prostitute at the time, and AI'd her in the middle of the combat zone. And then I showed her with some drugs, also using AI, and both pictures are really, really sexy. So I've got a weird, odd addiction. All to say that something very, very good happened at the Supreme Court today. The court ruled that you can't do gerrymandering by color. The left says that's a violation of the Voting Rights Act, and it was all done to do this gerrymandering by color so that there would be some black people in the House, in Congress. Obviously, you can't really do that, right? Because it's gerrymandering by race. Gerrymandering by race. It's going away now. And that is a very, very good thing. Not only that, but Florida now is redistricted. Thank you, Liz. Thank you. Yeah. Has redistricted. Let me get to some of these questions. Hi, listening on my way home from work. That's Liz again. Hi. Who enjoyed it very well, too. This blonde cabal of women sending these missives on the internet. Montante thought you looked like a gay man in that photo. Apparently, everybody thought I was a gay man at that time. Who knew? I was not a gay man. Splash says, looked like. Splash says, Tom looks like Steve Bannon, metrosexual younger brother who left home to find himself in the big city. Yeah, I look more like Bannon now, I think. Tom makes a fantastic... That is incorrect. He's suggesting I make a drink called Tom makes a fantastic gaping anus. That is not true. That is not true. All right, let me get to some of these cuts. These are great. The left is not doing very well because their gerrymandering is being taken from them. Look at that picture of Alice. Oof. And I'm enjoying it greatly. You should enjoy it too, because everything to them is obviously what it is all the time. It's the end of the world. Racism, Jim Crow, blah, blah, blah. They never stop. Couldn't happen to a better bunch of people. It couldn't happen to a better bunch of ghouls and snakes. Here's Hakeem Jeffries.
And now we're at a point where affirmative action is gone, diversity is gone, equity gone, inclusion gone, racial tolerance gone, the Voting Rights Act largely gone. But guess what, extremists? We're still here. That's right. And we're not going anywhere.
Oh, wow. Ooh.
And we believe in this country. That's right. Not a perfect country.
Oh, shut up. Anytime that small brain is made uncomfortable by something is a good situation. Absolutely is a good situation. I'll take it every time. Let me see. There's a great audio, too, from... Oh, here's the MS Now reaction to this, MSNBC reaction to this. Where is this?
Are there other states that could now redraw their maps that you think are going to be likely to do so?
It's very possible. So one expert on voting rights, Professor Nick Stephanopoulos at Harvard Law School, actually estimated that a ruling to this effect in Louisiana versus Calais could affect up to potentially 50 legislative districts. Now, that's not to say all of those states might redraw their districts so close to the midterm elections, but that does underscore what a significant effect this ruling will have on our democracy and who is able to obtain political power. So Florida, we know, has expressed interest.
So, in other words, they're not going to be able to use racism anymore. And they're mad about it. No, we got our special amount of racism that we were allowed to use. You can't take it.
And potentially doing some redistricting. Their initial plan for when they were going to do so was pushed back when we didn't have this decision last week. But my guess is they will get that process started now. And it's possible other states will follow. It's possible the president will invite other states to do more redistricting like he did when he invited them to do more partisan redistricting last.
Hey, Democrats, you know what? He's a king, right? He's just doing king stuff. So
year. So it remains to be seen exactly how many states might scramble to try to affect the upcoming midterm elections. But I think it's all but a certainty that many states will redraw the districts within the next few years, and certainly after the next redistricting cycle, in ways that will make it so much harder for voters of color to actually select the candidates of their choice.
No, it's not going to. No, it's not. All it means is that we're not using color anymore. All it's going to mean is that you're voting for the candidate in your district. That's it. The status quo was the insane thing, but I'll take it every day. And you got to give Trump credit for that. That's his Supreme Court that has done this. And it is absolutely wonderful. Here's this the Fox rundown.
Ruling against a Colorado law banning so-called conversion therapy for LGBTQ children.
That's the other one.
Watching this.
That's the other one. Oh, no. No, this is it.
Ruling against
it's coming in.
A Colorado law banning so-called conversion therapy for LGBTQ children. Shannon Bream watching this and getting the ruling now. What was decided? Good morning to you, sorry.
Shannon. That's the conversion therapy one. That ban is now lifted. So you can now tell a kid, no, he doesn't have to. Doesn't have to do that anymore. You don't have to just be convinced that you're only allowed to be trans. You're allowed to be convinced to not be crazy too. Here's Jeff Zeleny and CNN dealing with this.
It could have an impact on the midterms and beyond here. Jeff.
There's no doubt about it. And early voting, to Joan's point, does begin on Saturday in Louisiana. This Saturday, the overseas ballots have already been shipped out. So that explains the timing here. And I think it's important to look at this in a couple different ways, the short-term effect and the long-term effect. And Joan is absolutely right. There is no doubt in years beyond, this is going to majorly change representation largely across the South and elsewhere. Likely opening the door for more Republican seats, certainly in southern states. But even before we get to that, in Florida, as the opinion was being read, as Justice Kagan was reading her dissent from the bench and as Justice Alito was reading his majority opinion, the Florida House of Representatives at that very hour passed the new Florida maps. Now they have to go to the Florida State Senate. But this ruling likely makes legal challenges to the Florida action much more difficult. And just to remind our viewers, Florida, of course, is redrawing some of its maps to give Republicans 4 more seats. That comes after Democrats in Virginia had a statewide referendum that would likely give Democrats 4 more seats. It's really the culmination of a year-long gerrymandering war. But this ruling is going to change in 2028 and in years beyond, making it more difficult to challenge the drawing of this map. But again, unclear about the actual effects in the midterm elections because some states have already had their primaries. Candidate filing deadlines have already passed. So it's possible that some states will call a special session of a legislature and try and change maps or postpone elections like Louisiana. We will see. We have to see how that plays out. But I think the bigger impact of this is in the years to come. And Pam, I'm thinking back right now to 13 years ago when Congressman John Lewis was standing in his office watching as the first pillar of the Voting Rights Act was struck down. He said he was sad and dismayed for that. Now, of course, this is sort of a full circle, a major moment in American history, I think, for the dilution of the Voting Rights Act. And we will see the actual impacts going forward. But again, short-term versus long-term, likely not major impacts in the midterm races, but they've already been upended by so much mid-decade redistricting already.
Yeah, and you're right. You mentioned the Shelby case the Supreme Court had, and in that case.
Yeah. Anyway, no. You said Jim Eagle. It's already Jim Eagle, right? So there you go. Oh, it's wonderful, just wonderful. Let's see. Voting Rights Act. Jim Eagle. Barney Frank is in hospice now. That's too bad. Barney Frank was gay. He was great. His personality just was crazy. I miss the crazies, man. I mean, there's crazy now, obviously, but I miss that kind of crazy. Barney Frank crazy. There was this story of former married teacher. You can Google her. Married teacher McKenna Kindred had a 3-hour sex session with a 17-year-old student in the bed she shared with her lawyer husband. She sent him wild texts about toys and even suggested switching to Snapchat to hide everything. She pled guilty to sexual misconduct, got no jail time, just probation, a small time. So she should go to jail for cheating on her husband, because cheating on your husband while you're married should be something that you go to jail for, men and women. But what she did, this beautiful lady, for that 17-year-old kid was make his life come true. Every single man who's listening to my voice right now knows, and this woman is a 9.5, knows that a little time with a 9.5, 22-year-old or whatever, when we were 17, would have gone a long way. Now, some of you did just fine in high school. I'm not one of them. I did absolutely nothing in high school. Nada. But it would have changed everything. I would have loved my country. So I'd be you know what? If I had been with her, this teacher, as a 17-year-old, I would have been normal. And I would have been able to go on that date with Laura and see Blue Man Group. And now I would have kids who are all like adults now. But no, like I didn't have a teacher who would show me such good mercy and hospitality like this beauty did to that student. And as a matter of fact, no, none of the gorgeous swans in Winchester High really did either. So I am this now, and this is my life. Okay. Okay, I want to see what else I flagged to talk about. Trump. Great. Two great Trump cuts here. One is, is this not video? Trump talks about a guy's ears. Watch, listen to this. If they can say this.
There's a man standing right over here. You heard that question? With those beautiful ears of yours? He's got great hearing, you know. He's got super hearing. Trick of the trade, sir. There's a man.
Because he's got big ears, this guy. Trump had fun with it. We like that. I'm sorry the audio blows. And there was another one, too. What was the other one? Was Trump is asked about 86 inch. Because Comey was cuffed today and like arraigned or whatever. And for the threat, the seashell threat, which is not a great case against him and kind of makes everybody look stupid, but whatever. I don't think Comey's going to jail for seashells. I don't think he is. But they asked Trump if he thought 86, if that meant kill.
This morning, we were talking about how busy you were this morning. James Comey was in court. He self-surrendered. He's now been charged a second time, this time over a social media post with seashells that said 8647. Do you really think that he was endangering your life or threatening your life with that?
Well, if anybody knows anything about crime, they know 86. You know what 86? It's a mob term for kill him. You know? You ever see the movies? 86 him. The mobster says to one of his wonderful associates, 86 him. That means kill him. It's. I think of it as a mob term. I don't know. People think of it as something having to do with disappearing, but the mob uses that term to say when they want to kill somebody, they say 86, the son of a gun. I'm trying to keep the language nice and clear. They don't use that term, son of a gun. They use another term. But that's a mob term for kill him. Yeah.
But do you really think your life was in danger?
Probably. I don't know. You know, based on what I'm seeing out there, yeah. The people like Comey have created tremendous danger, I think, for politicians and others. Comey is a dirty cop. He's a very dirty cop.
Agreed on all.
He cheated on the elections. He tried to help Hillary Clinton, as you know. He dismissed a lot of things that he should have proceeded with. I wasn't involved, but he should have proceeded with. No, he's a dirty cop. He's a crooked man, yeah.
I do believe he's a dirty cop, too. He tried to help Hillary. Then he sunk Hillary, kind of, to cover his own ass because the G-men were mad at him. In Florida, the Democrats went crazy in the legislature when they voted to redistrict. Listen, this is Democrats. This lady is a good example, this congresswoman, of somebody who may not be in Congress anymore because of the racist redistricting may be over.
Our democracy, this is a violation of the Constitution. It is. It's a violation of the Constitution. I'm out of order, but y'all are doing illegal.
Representative Persons Mullica has waived close. The question now recurs on final passage of HB 1D. The clerk will unlock the machine and the members will proceed to vote. Have all members voted? Have all members voted? The clerk will lock the machine and announce the vote.
83 yeas, 28 nays, Mr. Speaker.
Show the bill passes. Read the next bill.
None on the desk, Mr. Speaker.
So there you go. They went absolutely nuts. Absolutely nuts. So before we go to this chat, is there chat messages? Let me see. I do want to mention something, only because yeah, there's a lot of messages. I get the feeling oh. Okay. Do I want to? Do you guys? Let me ask you. Do you want to hear something that's kind of a downer or not? All right. Tom looks like Steve. Okay. Thank you for addressing all my tweets. Tom makes a fantastic. Okay. Pulling in my driveway will catch the rest in the AM. Have a good night. Thank you, Liz. Do I want to do that? Okay, I'll just do it for a second. Then we'll get to the chat. We'll get in a good mood again. So my daughter's best friend, they're 15. They're at Fauntleroy Academy together. I've met this young lady. She's lovely. And she is, like a 15-year-old. They're gregarious and fun, and they like Taylor Swift and this and that. And they go to Starbucks, and, they like some boys, and they think the other boys are disgusting and this and that. And we're total, whatever. But she's great. She's fun to talk to. The good thing about my daughter's friends, not the boys, because all the boys are like dumb and like don't talk and like are shifty and like, but the girls are great conversationalists, and I think that's great because I'm actually talking to somebody and they're fun to talk to. They like about music or culture or life or whatever. But anyway, her friend found last night. 15 years old. Her dad had a heart attack and died last night. And now I know that you guys, all of us, when something in life just freaking runs you over and it's like everything is different. Everything is different. No, I can't imagine. She's 15 and she should not be losing her dad. That is... right now it's been 24 hours or whatever since the whole thing happened, and it's a shock, and I can't imagine like a kid, or maybe kids are more resilient. The teenagers are crazy anyway. But so I just thought about like sometimes your life can just be torpedoed. And I'm speaking low because my daughter's home and I don't want her to hear me talking about this. But, man, it's like, how do you prepare? How do you prepare for the eventuality or just for the occasion when suddenly you can be nuked? Like that. And... there's no upset. There's no, he had a good life. Like, this is a sad thing. This is somebody subtracted from a family who they didn't see that coming. Like, there was nobody gamed that out. And, like, why would you? If you're a kid especially, like, the world is the world, and the world has certain things, and those things continue. But like everybody, people will recover from things like that. But I can't imagine how you would... How do you pick up the pieces when you're just a kid? You guys know, some of us have talked about this together. You lose parents, and if you lose them at 30, when you're 40, it's still unbelievable. It's like an unbelievable nuking of your life. And it's like... But that is... It's just I'm thinking out loud. It's just one of those things where Like, life will never be the same as it was 2 days ago for this person. Everything has shifted. Boom. And that's just it. Everything's shifted. And now you've got a new world where everything's a little bit different. Everything's done without the validation of dad. Everything, can't run stuff by him. You don't know 1/10 of the stuff you wish you knew about him. It's like to borrow from Clint Eastwood, it's a hell of a thing losing a parent. It's just sad, but it's part of life. I mean, life is a freaking mixed bag. It really is. Like, for my parents died when I was, by the time I was 33, I think they were 33. Before I was 40, they were both dead. Anyway, in my mid-30s, but they were both dead. One was expected to die, and instead the other one died. And the other one hung on for some years, which also wasn't great. And so, like, I was sick of being in hospitals with bad things happening, which is one of the reasons I like being in the hospital when we're having kids, because it's rock and roll time there too, and traumatic, and there's all sorts of shit happening. And there's Alice screaming and threatening people, including me. But a good thing is happening, you know? But it's just life, man. It's a funny thing, you know. She's part of a fraternity now, or I guess a sorority of people who only other people her age or around her age, or who have also lost parents, will understand that their life is that shade now. So I'm just thinking out loud. I just thought it's profoundly sad, and it sucks that it has to happen. And now that I've taken everybody down, everybody has a gun in their mouth, let's go to the chat. By the way, what does it mean about me that I was looking at these pictures of Alice, like that one's just an AI picture of, which is just whatever, but the other one is just her, a real picture I had with her in my apartment when we first started dating, and then I put a joint in her hand. She's so freaking beautiful. And you know, like, it's not as if I was playing the hits through the early 90s and 2000s. It was tough out there. But man, I think back to the time when we were hanging out before we had our first kid. I hope, and I asked her this today, I hope I use that time constructively. I really do. I hope and she says I did, but I don't really remember for some reason, which is all the memories I want to have. You can take all the memories of at least one of the kids and just delete them all. I want those memories of the before. Anyway, I'm pathetic. Here we go. Cinnamon stick. Friggin'. Talk about the kill shot. Oh, that put me out of the hookup business for the next 5 years. Ugh. Everybody, all I was hanging out with was hotel people. And other hotel people, we'd all meet at these like different concierge parties somewhere. It was all other hotel people. That's all we knew. Cinnamon stick insults. Wall to wall.
Hey, Tom Shattuck, it's Jennifer.
Hey, Jennifer.
How are you doing?
Good. I was just thinking of you, as a matter of fact. I was just thinking how you would react to my wondering if I spent my early days with Alice like I should have. Which, when I say that, I believe I mean indulging in her beautifulness. I think that's what I'm trying to say in a classy way.
I think your podcast is coming along great.
Thank you, Jennifer.
Just a little more practice and you'll have it down. Just kidding. I miss Alice, too. I miss her laugh.
Yeah.
And her intelligent conversation. I hope she is well.
She is.
Joe and Nemo's had great hot dogs, and
Hold on, Jennifer. So there was a Joe and Nemo's, I think, if I've got this right, on Bowden Street, up from the Red Hat, I think. And was it a chain?
And I think they were down by the Garden.
Yeah.
Of course, they're not there anymore.
No.
And Lawton's in Lawrence had hot dogs.
Now, Jennifer, is Lawton's the one that was like built I've heard about Lawton's. A friend of mine from Lowell used to go there. Is that the one that was like built or like around a fire hydrant? So like the fire hydrant was inside, or like a telephone pole? It was really odd.
And they're gone too. You might get a boiled hot dog at Richardson's ice cream on 114 in Middleton.
Huh, interesting.
And Billy,
is
not sure where he's from, but 14 in Middleton.
Is Richardson's in Middleton the one that's got a that really great mini golf place too? Is it that place?
And Billy, not sure where he's from, but he's usually wrong 100% of the time.
Agreed.
Okay. Thanks, Tom.
Thank you. Sorry, I coughed on everybody. Thank you, Jennifer. I appreciate that.
Hey, Tom. Tom Thomason here. Another winner from the state of Connecticut. That Rosa DeLauro.
Yeah, psycho.
She is the oddest person I have ever seen in my life.
Yep.
Forget that blue hair streak. Those ridiculous rings she wears. They cover up 3/4 of each finger.
Yeah, she looks like an odd cross-dressing Gargamel.
She's ridiculous.
Yeah.
She ought to be a character in The Wizard of Oz. That's the way I look at it.
Yeah.
It's an embarrassment to say I'm from Connecticut. It really is.
Well, it's no better saying you're from Boston or Massachusetts or Maine.
I live up in the northwest corner. That's a little bit more conservative. Hopefully, we're going to get another congressman in and knock out that woman that was teacher of the year and then finance that into being a state rep.
I know, but her opponent last time was like
I don't
really
know,
good.
Thomas. I don't know. 57.
Thank you, my friend. I appreciate it.
This Hampton Inn, I guess, story.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, my God. This thing has more holes in it than Tom's resume. I don't know where to start, so I guess I'll start with this. The securing the door. You worked in a freaking hotel.
Correct.
You should know how doors should be secured from people who can still get through the crap that the hotel puts on them. You bring a little, a doorstop, you kick it in. I used to travel all the time. I've had doors opened up on me. Thank God there was something there to stop them. But you can also take the 2 glasses that I'm sure are completely filthy from the sink in the bathroom. You always take those 2 glasses, you line them up, one behind the other, put them right behind the door. Someone opens the door, clink, clink. It's going to wake you up unless you're bombed, hitting a meth pipe or whatever. You're going to hear it. Shattuck, it just amazes me. You talk incessantly about being in the hotel industry. There are wild animals that know that you are a concierge. This happens, and you don't pull out the concierge card. You don't go down the front desk and say, hey, I was one of you. You use this all the time. That's probably the biggest hole in this whole story, because now I'm wondering if you really were a concierge or worked at a hotel, or maybe you were that guy that I used to pass when I was getting the hotel, and you'd be out front, looking for a little bit of dough. I don't know. There's a lot more to this. Sorry I went so long, but I'm perplexed.
Yeah, but you can tell from, first of all, I wasn't thinking in that mode. We get a lot of kids. There's a lot of stuff. I usually always lock all the doors and have the do not disturb signs and all that stuff going on. There's a lot of moving pieces to this, But yes, and I was a concierge. You can tell because I was in Concierge Magazine. You may have seen that issue. It's a very famous issue. But yeah, it was not. But you want to hear? Okay, it did happen. I actually recorded Alice today talking to somebody in corporate over there. You can hear. Let me see if we can get this going. Here we go. Illegal recording. Alice doesn't like this because she thinks it's illegal.
Feel completely unwelcome and unsafe. I can't believe that another adult guest in the hotel was allowed to talk to our children without talking to us, and that guest was allowed to do that. I'm astonished. I'm astonished that a hotel employee was in the room talking to our kids in the middle of the night without waking us up. I'm horrified by the entire situation, and I'm I just like I'm like shocked by it, and like we left the hotel as soon as possible. I'm like still traumatized by the whole thing because I can't believe that it happened.
So that was Alice today. I thought she did a great job explaining exactly what was going on. And no, Tim, this was not. We on purpose didn't go confront the front desk people on purpose. I wanted the crime scene untrammeled by their efforts face to face to make things all right. And I think it's something that nobody on site there would have been qualified to correctly rectify. That's at the corporate level. So there. Okay, where am I here?
Hi, Tom. This is the other Tommy from New Hampshire.
Hey, Tommy.
I was just calling and with a comment on the Boston radio shows in the morning.
Yeah.
Cooner, god awful. And how he replaced Kim Carrigan and VB, I have absolutely no idea. Horrible decision on their part, guys. Just too much to deal with. But I liked Maida Perel and Kim Carrigan back when they were doing the show. I thought that was good. Nice middle of the road, light lifting early in the morning. Just my opinion. Thanks, Tom.
You know, I had forgotten that Meter had that gig first. Was Cullinane producing then? I think he was. I had forgotten that. Why would Meter have gone anywhere? That's interesting. Yeah, I think the problem was for that station was the ascension of Trump, and people in talk radio at that point, Howie had gone full Trump, and you were expected to go full Trump. Kim Carrigan was not full Trump, and Meter was always kind of measured on the air. And VB was kind of pro-Trump and kind of, remember his name was VB in the middle, so he was trying to in there. So I think there was a time that the audience demanded a MAGA show, and Cooner, though it's stupid, and he's stupid, he was the closest thing to a MAGA show that there was. I also don't even know. I just think in like talk radio fans and for that station WRKO, they're very possessive of WRKO, and they make a lot of noise. They email people, they call people, they send letters to people, and they wanted something more hardcore. Cooner, if you're a straight up MAGA person, Cooner's saying exactly what you want to hear. I think you deserve better, and you should have somebody doing it who can do it better. But that's just how it is. But yeah, it's too bad that there's not a good morning show. I mean, yeah, there's just not a whole lot of them around. You had the secret sauce with Kirk and Jerry, a little bit with Feinberg and Finneran, certainly with Todd. But people, they just don't do it right. And plus, the management doesn't want any trouble. They don't want yelling. They don't want ugliness. They don't want controversy. They're scared. They're just they're sellers. They're salespeople. All right.
Love that clip of David Cross. It just exposes what a complete asshole he is.
Yes.
And people like him. By the way, Tom, he wasn't Parks and Rec. You probably realize now. He was on Arrested Development.
Okay.
Not a big...
I always get those. I've not seen either one, but I always get them confused.
Fan of the show, but I do remember him being on that. Now, in the progressive mind, there is no such thing as gender or sex. It's something that's assigned at birth.
Yep.
It's a social construct. But David Cross dead-gendered that young person because he says that his daughter's friend, who is a he, used to be a girl. Well, in the progressive world, that's not possible.
That's cancelable.
Because if that person believes they've always been a boy, then they have always been a boy. So I find it offensive that David Dick Cross dead-gendered that young person. By the way, talk about overcompensating. The coolest one. What a douche. So creepy, too. Ugh.
I agree with you. It's all like creepy red flags all over the place. And to watch it physically, to watch him try to work through how what he was saying wasn't insane. He wants it to be like, unfortunately, it's people like that who don't do the right thing when there's social pressure who cause bad things in history to happen. It's too bad. But Lemur was good.
Hey, Tom. Tom again.
Hey, Tom.
Hey, I was just thinking about you and the TIC days.
Yeah.
And one of the best shows you guys did was on election night when you got all the guys together and then you hooked up with Eric Erickson once in a while. It was so good, your coverage of the election night. Have you guys at Main Wire ever thought of doing the same type of thing? It was really interesting and good to listen to. I would listen to you guys. Maybe you could cover all of New England or something. 40 seconds.
Yeah, so election night, it was me, Reese Hopkins, Brian from the morning show, and we had some other guests come in. And two takeaways from that show. One, Brian at some point was like, first of all, he's a TV and radio guy. He's a very good broadcaster, mechanics. I think my show is much more interesting. His is just a bunch of interviews. Nobody gets hurt. I like him. He's a good guy. But one thing that was like blew me away was we had like Eric Erickson on, and he said, "Okay, before you guys say talk to Eric Erickson, say who you are first, and then ask a question." And I was like astounded. Like, what, first fucking day? Like, what the weird? Like, what a weird. Like, okay, no, like I don't need coaching exactly. Thank you very much. So there. That's one. It was just I was just surprised. I didn't really. I only say that because, like, extreme stuff more happened on my show, so I know how to navigate smooth seas and rough seas. The other thing that was, to be honest with you, is I bailed early on that show. I bailed. The show either went to 11, I bailed at 10, or the show went to 12 and I bailed at 11. And that's only because I wanted to experience some of the stuff with Alice, because it's like elections have always been our thing together, and I wanted to get home and like watch this thing with my wife. And who the freak is listening to the radio other than you, Tom? Thank you. On election day, it's a big TV red state blue state thing, but thank you. I like all tag team events like that when everybody gets together and does that kind of stuff. I think it's cool. I think it shows the station unity. We were all for, me, Reese, and Brian Shackman are all for doing that in more ways. But life just goes like really fast. I would have joined him too. As a matter of fact, he called me and asked me to like join him once a week to talk about the Main Wire stuff. And I thought about it. I thought like, yeah, maybe I'll do it. And then I thought about it again. I thought, wait a second, that company thinks they're going to, not him. It's not Brian's fault. He's just being nice. But I thought like that company thinks they're going to get some me for free. It's like, no, man, you made your decision. Sorry about that. Which I didn't tell Brian, but that's the real story. He probably understands. So, yeah, thank you. I appreciate that. I like election night coverage. I'm terrible at it. I've always been terrible at it. Now, you heard the Baron Barrel 2 days ago. I had Rob Eno on. Rob Eno is great at it. I'm terrible at election night coverage. I just don't, my mind doesn't work well that way to know how many delegates are here and what happens here, and these counties may fall next to this. That's not, to me, that's algebra. I don't really get it. I'm a regular season. I'm best in the regular season. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, aren't you happy sometimes when the Christmas break is over, New Year's is over, New Year's Day is over, and finally you can get back to the regular season stuff? It's like, I'm better in the regular season. I really am. But election nights can be fun. Yeah. Okay. So this one is entitled, and I thank you for doing the, what's it called? Naming convention. But this one is, I think I can deduce from what this is called as to what this might be. It says screenplay homo. I don't know.
Oh, Shattuck. Oh, Shattuck. You wrote a screenplay because of course you did.
I know.
Now, I got no problem with that. Hey, you want to take a whack at it? Go for it.
Tim, dude, if you read this effing thing, dude, there was a thing in the Herald that said there was a contest for a screenplay because Good Will Hunting was written in Boston, so everybody who's from Boston should write one. And they did.
But I know you didn't even do it the right way. And by that, I mean using the fact that you actually wrote a screenplay so that you could tell chicks and try to impress them, or even the fellas at the glory hole, hey, I'm writing a screenplay, and they'd be all, enamored by that. No, knowing you didn't even tell them. You just wrote the screenplay in secret and didn't even use it to your advantage.
I did not.
I want to see the diary from those days.
Oh, no. First of all, this is 5 years before the glory hole. Second of all, Tim, I was still a loser. That's like saying I'm in a band. It's like telling the chicks I wrote a screenplay. Doesn't matter. Nobody optioned it. Like, the freaking thing sat there. I wasn't a screenwriter. I was a hotel concierge, as you can see in my Twitter feed, for a living. So yeah. Oh, if you guys read that screenplay, and thank God it can't be gotten, I don't think. Especially you guys. Some girls might go for some of the romantic stuff. Even my own mother, who always lied to me about how I was actually good looking and really smart. She would always tell me that, even at times when really it belies the realities on the ground. Even she was underwhelmed. Every joke that was predictable, she saw coming. You guys, the stuff, the cliches, the things they say, there's nothing we cover on this podcast that we've talked about in text or the chat or whatever. There's nothing disgusting that any man has said or done that's disgraceful that I did not do in that screenplay. It is a national disgrace, that screenplay. If this was a proper country, the American Stasi would have pulled up to my house. They would have grabbed the screenplay, incinerated it, and shot me in the head. Which is actually how the screenplay starts. Somebody gets shot in the head. Oh, I shudder to think about the parts of the screenplay. Oh my God. Don't be creative and then be bad at it like I was. And there's other times too. Like I think about when I was at the Herald, I actually wrote an editorial about the turkey problem in Massachusetts and wrote myself into it as like a Melrose man actually confronted a turkey who was bothering, and that was me. Oh, there's another one. One of my bosses like, sometimes, Tom, I really like your writing. Sometimes I wince. Yeah, I get it. No bueno. Sorry about that. Sometimes I wince. That's not what this is going to be called, though, I don't think. I think it's going to be called Cinnamon Stick, right? Thanks, everybody. Thanks for everything. Thanks for hanging out again. Oh, the chat. Can we go to the chat? Hold on. I don't want to leave the chat untended to. In case there's chatting happening on the chat. Okay. Montante thought you looked like a gay man. Looked like Steve Van Tom makes a fantastic. Okay. So that was it. Okay. Thank you, guys. I really appreciate it. See you guys tomorrow. I look forward to it.
C'est la vie.